Hello? Hello?
Hello, Richard.
Hello, how you doing?
Are we muted on YouTube at the moment?
No, we're streaming.
Yeah. Hey everyone, it's Jim here, and I'm joined once again by Rich.
Hello.
Hello, Rich. And this is our first stream of 2021. I hope everyone had as good a new year as they could have done under the circumstances. I made the most of it. I hope you did, Rich.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, excellent. So yeah, let's get straight to it. We are now working on the big boy himself, the Eidolon. Did you get the cloak finish, Rich?
Not really.
Excellent.
I finished
Oh,
this
it's looking
side.
good though, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm not overly happy with it, but I've got it to a point where I'm going to leave it for now, and then once the whole thing's built with sort of, let's say 90% of the whole model complete, probably minus the base, I'll then come back and fine tune little things. And
you think you'll know what you
yeah,
need to do to it? You've got the other colours.
just make sure it all matches. But at the moment, I'm just a little bit. I mean, I've done it quite rough. A lot of stuff needs tidying, and all the what's the right word? The waves or the light patterns that I'm trying to put through the water, they all need glazing down a little bit.
Configurations?
I don't know what the word is. Where
I think that might be more of a fiery magical thing, actually. But...
yeah, they all need to be pushed down a little bit. And it's gone a bit bluer than especially on the screen. Anyway, in my hand, it's not as blue, but when I'm looking on the screen, the blue is very blue.
I'm assuming you mean it's like more greeny than red or something like that.
Kind of,
or just more grey.
Just no, it's the blue is stronger on the screen than it is in real life. It's more a greeny, desaturated blue, whereas on the screen it's not changed it. I don't know. It's very it's a lot bluer on my screen for some reason than it is in real life. A much stronger blue, anyway. So yeah, this guy.
Okay. So yeah, we had a brief chat about him in our pre-video chat, didn't we?
Yeah.
You're still a little bit lost on
I'm not
exactly where you want to go.
I'm not sold. I've been thinking about it obviously for a while. I've been looking through sort of other people's work on it, and I'm still unsold what direction I want to take. Obviously, for those that were here with the first one, my biggest concern with this model is this thing, this cloak or wave, whatever it is supposed to be. It's very big. It's very overpowering. I'm worried he's going to overpower the model, especially once I put all the white on it. And I'm worried about losing the main character of the model. So I want to make sure he's going to stand out.
Stand out, doesn't he?
Because if I do him sort of just traditional grey silvers, like it is in the artwork, I think he sinks into he doesn't come forward enough. So I want to bring him very far forward or quite far forward. And it's how I go about doing that. A fairly obvious choice is to do something like an orange that's complementary of blue, so maybe like a terracotta or coral kind of armor.
I was just thinking corally, yeah.
But I think that's going to look quite harsh. I like to keep things generally fairly monochromatic. I don't like playing with colors too much. I like playing with colors a lot, actually. What I mean is in the general piece, I want it to be mixing. I want it to be harmonious. So I kind of discarded that idea. The other two ideas I have, I'm torn between. One is to do like a green gold, non-metallic, and I'm not quite sure why I don't really want to go down the gold road, because that's adding it's moving away from a sort of monochromatic feel with it, and I want to really tie the whole thing together and keep it related towards the ocean, given that it's an avatar of the sea or whatever it is. So the other option probably what I think I'm going to go for is to go for quite a high contrast non-metallic metal steel, but heavily based in a green as well.
So would you have like more of a kind of greeny reflection on the back of him, or are you not thinking so much down that route?
It's more actually the overall color. So I mean, on him you can see he's got this chainmail on his chest plate and in his legs. I think it's on the shoulder pads as well. I'd need to check. So I'll probably do that a bit more bright, a bit more, what's the right word, less green. But I'm thinking of the rest of the stuff to do it almost not a green armor, but it's more like it's a very shiny non-metallic armor that's just picking up loads of green, almost like almost like an OSL, but not.
Mm.
I don't quite know how to
Picking up
explain
the
it.
colour that's around it almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so and it's obviously he's in some kind of eerie nighttime, watery environment.
Mm.
I'll probably be throwing some different colours in there as well, but overall that's what I'm going to start with.
Will you be starting with your favoured green, the sea green colour that you
No,
like?
that's a bit too blue.
Oh, okay.
For me, that's very blue, especially if I'm doing non-metallic metal. This is normally my go-to because it's very desaturated.
Hmm.
So it's very easy to turn it into a metal because it doesn't have a strong color. But I really want that green, so I'm undecided which one I use. I'm going to use one of these two. This one actually looks very blue on the camera. I don't know why. That is very blue. That's the same thing.
Mm.
It was happening. The same thing was happening a couple of weeks ago on one of the streams. I don't know why
I
I'm
think it's the
using.
same colour. Might not be.
Maybe I don't remember use.
I don't think the other colour was the same, but I'm pretty sure the
See, even
Chimera colour
this is a green ink and it's showing up blue, so that's going to cause
was
some
blue.
problems on the stream. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what
Have
it's
you
doing on
engaged
my phone
aqua
camera.
mode
It's
on your
fine.
phone?
Sorry,
Have you engaged aqua mode, or have you put it a
green
cover for
mode.
deep sea diving? So it's just naturally
I
put in green.
looked after the last time for any settings on both the phone and the software on the computer that's using it to see if I could change the tones, but I can't see how.
Mm.
It's strange that this one looks very green. This one almost looks real life, but these two are quite a long way off. This especially the ink is a very strong green. So that could cause some problems. So in that case, I'm probably going to use this color because it actually looks the closest on the camera.
Does look like a green.
It's a
Yeah.
sea green, I think it's called, a scurvy green. Sorry. Now it's a game color which I don't normally like using too much. I find they don't cover very well, but this one actually is not too bad. I quite like it. So I'll probably be using this as a base, and I'll be
Excellent.
aiming for quite a high contrast non-metallic metal.
Hmm.
So I'll start mixing in a minute. Firstly, I'll just quickly talk over this guy. So I've part built him. I'm a bit worried because I've stuck his head on. I didn't test fit it, but from what I can tell from the instructions, it's not a massive problem. But you do build the cape around his head.
Oh, are you worried about like
I'm
where it fits?
worried that I'm going to have to snap the head
Okay.
off later on, but I didn't want to paint it without the head. And I'm fairly confident from looking through the instructions I can get away with it, but we'll just
I
see.
think on the one that I've half built, I've done exactly the same.
Yeah,
But I
I
hadn't put
think
the
I'm
rest on
okay.
because I didn't know which one I was going to use. But I'm pretty sure I put the head on. But
Yeah,
that's as far as I got.
I decided I wanted to use this. I didn't like the look of the other one. Plus, the other one doesn't have a face. He's got some plate over his eyes and nose. So
Mm.
um, that was a. I haven't chosen the what I'm going to equip him with in terms of the hands or anything yet. But yeah. So
Well,
he's built.
in the rules, I don't think you get any options. But obviously, you're allowed to do whatever you like
I
with your
thought there
model.
was two different. Well, maybe they're the same thing. They just modelled
Yeah,
differently.
the different heads go with the different weapons. If
Oh, I
that
see.
makes
You
sense.
can't mix and match. Okay, okay,
Well,
that's
yeah,
fair enough.
I mean, you can, you do what you like, but
Yeah,
obviously, yeah.
rules wise. Okay, no, that's fair enough. Um, so yeah, I've built him more or less as far as I can, um, without causing problems when I come to assemble it afterwards. So again, it will be what's the right word? I'll be painting him sort of 95% like this, and then just building the whole thing, and then just neating up any joins and tying the colours together. I've airbrush primed him, and he's quite an awkward thing to mount because he doesn't obviously sticks into the back of the cloak, so there's no way really to mount him. So what I've
Mm.
done is I've just drilled a small hole in his back, which you wouldn't see, hopefully,
Tapping is fine. Yeah.
and then stuck a paper clip into it and stuck a paper clip into a core because it's a bit awkward because he's bigger than I'm used to. So his feet hangs down here, but I just snapped the super glue a little bit and I can pivot him to the
So
side. It does
no
mean
comment
it's
on that.
loose. It does mean it's loose, which is a bit annoying. But it's still a stiff, tight enough fit because I didn't. Obviously, I
Mm.
made the hole
I
relatively
love how
small.
pointy those feet are as well.
It's really, really pointy. Yeah, no, it's
Mm.
very well made, very well casted, or whatever it is they do
That's
nowadays.
that's very good for kicking people if you're cavalry.
No, it is. It's going to be quite interesting actually because there's a lot of very interesting shapes that's going to be quite difficult to interpret in terms of non-metallic metal. So it's good
Mm.
now. I'm having a good look now. You can see how it's glossy. It's kind of giving me indication
Mm.
of where I want to put shadows, where I want to put lights. This side is not as shadowy because my airbrush was blocked when I was doing this, so it didn't go on quite as thick. So this side is obviously a lot more glossy, but That's not how I was envisioning I was going to do it, but that's how the light's shining. So maybe it is how I will
How it
do.
will be.
We will have a look as I start. So better put some paint on the palette if we want to do some painting. So the scurvy green first. Maybe it looks better on this camera. Maybe. I never thought about that. No, it's
It
still
looks
blue.
black on my screen, but
It's still blue. I don't get it. What if I put something actually blue? Blue. Okay. Then I want some black, which I hope I picked up. Yeah. And then I'm just
I
gonna.
saw on your Instagram and on Facebook, I think actually,
Yeah.
but mainly on
Yeah.
the
My
Instagram,
Instagram keeps
sharing
posting to my Facebook. It's not supposed to.
previous work. Well, Instagram and Facebook are quite linked now, I think,
Yeah.
whereas they
I need to find a
6 months
setting to
ago.
turn it off. I didn't really want that, but never mind. Sorry, what were
You
you
don't want
saying?
your family knowing what you really like doing, do you?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, just nice to see your stuff going up. So if you want to see more of Rich's work, his Instagram tag is in the description.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you put up what did you put up? The Hulk today, or was
Yeah.
it yesterday?
The Hulk
No, it was today.
today, Abaddon tomorrow. I'm just trying to put up my favorite. Well, I didn't obviously paint too many, um, but I'm trying to put up
Hopefully,
sort of 3
that's
or
it.
maybe 4 of my favorite models that I
Yeah.
did last year.
Oh, you got some lovely Marvel stuff that you worked on towards the end of the year, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm only going to post one Marvel thing, I think, so because there's not
Oh,
many
okay.
actually finished. Right, so all I've done there is added some black into the sea green. I'm going to call it sea green. It's scurvy green, but it's essentially sea green. Because I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to approach this color wise. I haven't got it in my head. I've never really done a non-metallic that's actually been a color without or this way. I did Cipher as a non-metallic green, but I did that by doing black and white and then glazing over it with an ink. I'm going to try here because I want to control the color a bit easier, or a bit more accurately, let's say, rather than easier. It's actually going to be harder, I think. I'm just going to focus on the leg for now. Normally, I'd like to base coat everything just so I can get a feel of how the whole model looks and feels as I progress. But I'm going to focus on maybe just the foot and the leg because I've also got a feeling this could be a slow process, and I don't want to waste a lot of time base coating the whole model to find we run out of time. And I've only got, not even halfway
Yeah.
through the process, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to really focus on this
I
lower
know
leg.
it's the start of 2021, but we don't want to see the model taking, the whole video up, really.
This is actually going to annoy me. I think I'm
Oh,
going to end
really?
up holding him by his head. I shouldn't have snapped that super glue so I could move him out of his way. I probably should have done is gone into his foot, but I was worried how much that would be visible. But I could have easily just filled that in.
These are all useful subjects for people to learn, so it's all good. You did it deliberately to teach people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was a deliberate mistake. Am I doing it on the screen? Yeah. Didn't even look.
Yeah, you're fine, yeah.
So I'm not trying to be particularly neat or anything yet. I'm keeping it quite dark. So I haven't gone for a Zenithal Prime because I want something quite high contrast. I like to start with a black, and I can build up the contrast directly over it. Whereas if it's Zenithal, because it's kind of grey, you kind of lose sort of the initial
You have to
contrast you
kind
can
of work
get.
back down again, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it means I've got a bit more work in terms of the covering and getting the colour, but that's not really an issue for non-metallic.
It's amazing the quality of their sculpts now, isn't it?
No, this is really good. This is a really, really good.
It's quite an old one actually, for GW standards. It's 2.5 years old, something like that. I think.
I think Abaddon was actually the last GW model I painted.
Didn't you do that you finished? You mean?
Yeah.
Or,
Oh, there's plenty that I started.
I was going to say, I'm sure you did some World Eater stuff, but I don't think you finished any, did you? You were just kind of playing around.
No, World Eaters, I don't know when. Maybe if they drop a codex, maybe it'll happen.
Well, I'm reading, or actually listening to on Audible, Saturnine, which is book 4 of the Siege of Terror.
Yeah.
And the World Eaters are in that, and Angron's in that, and it's very, very, it's very good.
Yeah, no,
It's a
I
really
think I'm only on book 2, the one where Angron just gets down but can't get through the shield, whatever it is. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, it's either 2 or 3. Yeah. Book 1, I struggled with a bit because it was just like it's space battles, which is really hard to grasp the concept of. But it was like over an entire solar system, so it's quite heavy. But there were some really cool bits in it, though. But yeah, this book 4 is Dan Abnett, so it's going to be a good read from the start. But it's it's pretty intense. It's got to the point where they're just about to have a big fight with Angron and everything. So
okay. So now I need to start putting some light in there. Normally I'd do the base coat and then I'd bring down shadow and start with shadow, but it's quite dark already. I also normally, what I quite like to do is to put the linings in, so all the little cracks in the armor, I normally like to go through over them in black. Because it's quite dark, I'm not actually going to bother. I'm going to start moving straight up through the lights because at the moment it's very dark. And I'm just thinking to myself, I initially grabbed the white because I was planning on adding white to it, but I don't normally like going straight to white because it gives you very little room to move. Once you start adding white, you all you basically do is you lose your color and you increase the brightness, so you have less of a range of tones to start playing with. So I'm going to try and see what happens if I add some of my cold yellow, one of my favorite colors, but I do not know if it's going to work or if it's going to, because I've got to be careful. Obviously I'm adding yellow, but I don't want green. Sorry, I don't want gold. I don't want to start moving towards a yellow color. So we'll see what happens anyway. I don't think it should be fine. I think it should start just going a bit more pea green, which I'm not overly worried about.
It's dark enough at the start. I think it's not going to matter, is it? It's when you push in the really light colors.
Yeah, so you start. Yeah, I'll start. Obviously adding white after this. I want midtones. I want there to be a lot of interest in the midtones. I just don't want it to be a gradual what's the word? Transition from dark green to light green. You want things to shift. You want interest in there. Excuse me, interest. So the way he's mounted, he's like this. So I'm just.
He's pretty much vertical, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to decide on which side I want the light source to come from. He's looking to the left, but I think so. I'm going to have the light source coming from the left, which means most of the light's going to be hitting on this side. Okay, I'm reasonably happy with that already. I think that's going to work. I think it's going to work from that. Just
finished. Quickest video yet.
I'm not going to say finish, but I am very concerned about the colours, but
yeah.
I think this will work. I'm deciding here if I want 2 highlights or just 1.
I guess you're gonna have a lot of, like, thinking about the armor. There would be a lot of reflections coming from behind and stuff as well.
Yeah, no, there's going to be a lot going on. I was thinking about this as well today. I'm probably going to be breaking a lot of sort of rules in terms of where the light's coming from. I'm almost going to make it up myself, and I know I'm thinking about where the light's coming from, but I'm going to be adding lights in all kinds of directions just because he's surrounded by water trees and he's a mythical creature of some kind. I think we're going to have a guest visit in a minute by the sounds of it.
Oh, it sounds like you've got a friend coming, yeah.
Sorry. At least she didn't do anything embarrassing.
Yeah, just chuck a doll in front of you and smash them up, that kind of thing.
No, I'm happy enough with that. So we'll start moving up and down the leg. So this is obviously just the first sort of step in the midtones. Just trying to decide where I'm going to go from a point that I find quite easy to interpret where I want the light to be, and then just go from there. My paint's a little bit watery for this stage.
I think you made the right choice not going down the sort of coral route.
Yeah, no, coral I wouldn't have liked.
I'm looking at this thinking, oh, this is nice.
I think it'll work
I
well.
think if you want coral, you can kind of do a bit of it on the base anyway. So
I'm thinking at the moment to try and paint the base like it's underwater.
so
It's
you've
not.
got like the light reflections.
I
And stuff.
know. A lot of people really like to make the bases like almost the opposite of the model and have it really pop. I'm afraid I'm not a fan of it. I like the model to the base to almost like your base is your frame of your whole piece. So I don't want it to be detracting from the model at all. It's just there to.
I think especially because you've got a lot going on this model already.
Mhm.
You know, you've got the cloak, which is quite overpowering. If you then put a base on, which is strong as well.
Well, that's the thing. You've got all the fish on there, and like you say, the coral. I think there's a shipwreck that goes on there.
Yeah, some gold maybe.
So
an old clock and a couple of octonauts.
Exactly. I take it the sound is working for everyone. I never thought about that, just because.
I think so, because we've had
someone
a
would
lull
have said, "Oh yeah,"
so,
someone would have said something by now. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I have somehow everything's watered down a bit too much. At this stage, when I'm doing this, it's just I want everything to be covering in one pass. I know, obviously, everyone always says 2 thin coats, but this is just a sketch. You know, this day and age. I mean, I think the 2 coats thing, in my opinion, comes from when you had like lead models and the details was very thin. I really want to just be able to.
Depends on the style of painting you're doing as well, though, doesn't it?
True.
Like, I think if you go with the sort of classic tabletop style that is like GW and like even the like Army Painter and stuff like that, it's not doing what you like to do, which is painting something to look like a small version of a real thing.
Yeah.
It's painting a miniature just to look like a well painted thing.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I know what you mean. Because I'm just trying to sketch. I'm trying to play with the colours, and I'm not happy with the way I've interpreted that. But I'll come back to it. There's nothing to stop me changing it completely. You know, I'm painting it like this now with the first mid-tone, but when I do the second highlights, I might put them somewhere completely different. So part of me wants to stop now and move on to the next part to see what it looks like, but I think I'm going to go a little bit higher just to keep at it.
Work your way up the leg.
Exactly. I'm going to put a little secondary highlight here.
It's amazing how much detail there is on that armor as well.
It is. I can see it's going to get quite annoying, actually. I'm beginning to think I should have chosen true metallics.
You'd be like, I should have just painted Magneto.
In a way, it's actually quite nice painting this because, like, obviously with the Marvel stuff I have, it's pretty much I think apart from Abaddon, it's almost the only stuff I've painted. It's quite nice to have the freedom to choose which colours and stuff I'm using, because obviously with them, I mean, you could paint them however you wanted, but it wouldn't feel right. I might do this gold, you know, this little like gem holder. The gems I think are going to be red, just because obviously there's a lot of green in the model, and I know I was saying I don't like to use harsh contrast and I want everything harmonious, but at this stage they're only small tiny little gems. It's more of a spot color just to draw interest. But I think for now I'm going to leave them anyway. I want them different. Some of that's because I'm not sure yet where to put the lights. I need to firm up the rest of this part before I really can decide how I want to put them.
So I think what's happening this year from an Age of Sigmar point of view is obviously, I don't know if you've heard there's a book that came out at the end of last year called Marathi, which is like, you could compare it to the Psychic Awakening stuff for
Okay,
40k.
yeah.
It's like a campaign book that gives you some extra rules, pushes the narrative along, and and there's more books in that line, which are probably leading up to third edition Age of
Okay.
Sigmar this year. I mean, they might have even confirmed it somewhere, but I've not seen it. Do you think third edition's the time that you'll get into Age of Sigmar with a nice little army, considering how nice some of the models are?
To be fair, AOS's models are probably my favourite over 40k.
Mm.
Um, I know you keep trying to get me.
I'm gonna try and get you into it. Yeah.
I just really don't think an like wargaming, big war games is for me. I don't want to be playing with chopped up bits of plastic anymore, and I haven't got
You
the
like a
time. I
vintage
haven't
stuff.
got the motivation or the time really to paint a whole army to the standard that I want. I couldn't, I try to paint things quickly and
So if you could do like a 5 or 6 model army, would you do that?
yeah.
Because there's
But
already one available.
if you're going to turn
There's
around
some.
and tell me it's models that are like a knight army, it's just as much
No,
work.
it's not. It's not knights. It's the Gargants, the Sons of Behemoth.
Is that the giant that's somebody's
Yeah, they're
painting?
not as big as knights. They're not as big as knights. They're not as big as everyone was expecting, actually, which is by the by. But yeah. I think the problem you'd find with those, even though like one model might be really nice to paint, there's not enough variation in them. So it's like it's the same
Oh,
same body with like different heads and different
okay.
bits of armor and stuff. You know.
Okay.
Um,
So I've just added a little bit more yellow.
mhm.
Um, and I'm just going to go inside the highlights I've already made. I'm actually running out of space a little bit quicker than I was expecting, to be honest. That almost looks like it's a glow in the dark kind of color. Like you used to get these toys as
Yeah,
a kid. Maybe that's the way. Maybe I can make him look undead.
like sickly white. Oh, they
Yeah.
used to. What was the? Oh, there was a really old Citadel color that I used to use all the time. It was called something like rotting flesh, but it's not. It might have been putrid flesh, or
I've heard of putrid flesh.
but it was that kind of greeny white sort of color, like ghoul skin.
It is getting a bit too close to that, but I'm hoping with the contrast, like the fact I'm going to try and make it very high contrast, that I can get away with it not get away with it standing out from the sea. So you're going to split that into two lights.
So I think what we've gained from that conversation is no, you're probably not.
Pretty much, I'm afraid.
So Games Workshop, if you're watching, you need to make a. Well, there is Warcry actually. That's a skirmish game, isn't it?
Yeah,
You
no,
played that already?
I have. Yeah,
Played
I've
that?
got the box under my desk.
I was going to say they need you. You need a. I think the problem with Warcry is maybe you don't get models to like as exciting as this because it's.
For me to get into it, I need every model to be completely different
Mm,
and not even close to being the same.
mm.
That's why I'm enjoying the Marvel Crisis stuff, because every model I paint is different.
Well, I just
get
make up a rule set where you get like
I get
all the cool
too
models from
bored,
each
yeah,
faction. Yeah.
too quickly. And the same, I don't know. That's why I tried Harlequins in 40k, but even that was, I don't know. I'm just not a good army painter.
More plastic Primarchs, that'll do.
Yeah, I think I should. Yeah, I think they should do a Primarch army. Let me
Yeah,
play with all the Primarchs
yeah.
and
It's all
release them
like
all at once. All the Demon Primarchs. Actually, you probably could if they ever release them. I'm sure it wouldn't be very
well,
good.
my personal opinion on the Primarchs, if they need any pushing in the right direction because they're not sure, which is very likely because obviously Games Workshop don't plan ahead. Well, they do, but if it was me, I like because people go on about we need more loyalist Primarchs and all the rest. I'd make sure that you'd have one for each of the Chaos Gods
For
first.
sure.
It
No,
makes it seem
definitely. I'd agree
like you
with that.
want to get it 2 seconds to midnight instead of 2 minutes sort of
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah, it's lost a bit of the
The lion walks out the rock, or Russ comes like out of the warp as a mutated monstrosity, and they make space wolves, as the mutant horrible things they are, into like heretics. Just get rid of them.
For sure.
Uh,
Space Force need. Yeah, no, they need to go.
they've literally got mutants running around. I mean, Dark Angels. Yeah, okay, they're a bit shadowy, but they're trying to sort that out.
I don't think he's watching, mate.
No, he's probably not, is he?
You can try and wind him up, but I don't reckon
There's
he's
other
there.
space wolf players out there, though.
There is.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I would do. I'd have like an
I agree
Angron
about the
mod,
Primarchs. Yeah,
and the full grid model is definitely people just go mad for them, wouldn't they? But
for
obviously,
sure.
the issue with those is you've got to then support them with
Other stuff. Yeah.
essentially new armies to go with them. So
You couldn't
we'll
really
have to
have
wait.
Angron running around with 20-year-old Berserker sculpts.
I think they might be older than that actually.
They probably are.
I think they're like 95 or something. I can remember when they first came out and how excited everyone was because it was like one of the first multi-part plastic kits of that era. Because the Catachans came out around then. I remember. I think the first ones they did though were Space Marines and Dark Eldar when they were in like a starter set. It might be 3rd or 4th edition, something like that. I don't know. But then they did the Catachans, which I don't know why they haven't changed those either. But
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a good reason, but yeah. So that's the problem with bringing all these Primarchs out is you kind of have to support them, don't you? It's not a single model thing.
Yeah, and they're not loyalists.
Just bring out more Guillimans in different poses.
Can you imagine the salt if they did that?
Yeah.
They should put
And
they should start like hyping up now for a
harvest
summer
salt.
release of a new Primarch. And
Yeah.
have it just be Gulliman in a different suit of armor.
Yeah, he's like sat on a chair. I know.
He's taken out of that life support armor, or whatever it is.
Mm.
Oh, that was a complete disaster there. Right, so I've pushed the foot just a little bit with white, and I'm just going to edge highlight the foot a little bit. I'm quite pleased with how it's looking because I don't know how it looks for you guys, but to me, it's moved away from the green a little bit, and it's looking a bit more like a metallic. So I'm going to edge highlight just to get the real feel.
It's very small because I'm essentially looking at a phone screen.
Yes,
With the way
sorry.
the studio thing, the YouTube studio setup. But I could actually make it bigger and have a look.
So I'm going to edge highlight it just so I can kind of. You'll see it when you edge highlight bits like this. It really helps sell the metallic feel. So I'll just put the edges on, and then
what type of brush are you using at the moment?
I'm using a Windsor Newton 1.
There you go. It looks like metal already, just like that.
Okay, the edge highlighting really makes a difference on, especially on a little element like this. So next, I'll start pushing the shadows. I'll probably start adding a bit of purple or something to it. I mean, the shadows are very dark anyway. I might extend the midtones, to be honest, a little bit. But I'm fairly sure he's going to stand out. I mean, I'm probably going to go over it with the ink afterwards anyway. The whole thing. Maybe not in the highlights, but over the shadows and over the midtones. But I'm fairly sure that's gonna not get drowned out. Let's say, but I am going to extend this midtone a little bit, just a little bit. I can make the shadow bigger if I do too much the wrong way. I think I said it when we were working on the gold last time. I'll probably be edge highlighting maybe 5-6 times the different areas, and that's just the way it goes. The edge highlight really just, for me, it helps me gauge.
I mean, obviously, as soon as you did that, I could see that you were going for a metallic look.
Yeah.
And then it, obviously, from your point of view, knowing what you're then going to do, because you've got that, you've gained a step basically by doing that, haven't you?
Yeah, just for me, it helps me. I always find just doing it helps me. What's the word? Solidify my sort of thought pattern and where I'm thinking I'm going next. Because I was planning. Oh, I forgot this bit here. I was planning on going into the shadows next, but I just wanted to be sure I was happy I'm not as happy with the leg on the where I've got the lights. I'm not as
Is that
confident there.
because of all the different shapes and everything? It's just a bit
Yeah,
harder to
I'm
see them?
finding them quite difficult to interpret. So I'm just I'm pretending they're not there for now. I'll come back to it once I'm I don't know, I can't remember, once I'm confident with that I've
Put a
got the
green stuff cloak over it or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Once I'm confident I've got the color where I want it, then I'll start working on the more sort of difficult areas to figure out where the lights would react and bounce and all that good stuff.
Mm.
That was rough. The edges are the angle of them. I can't quite use my side of my brush; it would catch the plate below.
Because it's
So
kind of scooped, isn't it?
yeah, so I have to do it the old-fashioned way, the manual way. So you can see, even though it's quite high contrast, I'm still a long way off from pure white and pure black.
Mm.
I think at least hopefully on the cameras, yeah. But on the palette, it is very green to a pea green almost. But and that's kind of where I want to be with it. If I'm doing a non-metallic, I don't want to be limiting myself straight away to white and black.
Mm.
It really helps to be just getting it right with the midtones to start with. Like what's his name? The Ultron I was doing. Like he's very green and yellow. He's actually similar to this actually.
Yes. Yeah. Did you ever start
No,
on the back of that model? No.
no,
Okay. Right.
no.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I did I did actually think about that today. Actually, I can't remember what made me think of doing it, but I need to. I need to because that would be an awesome model if you ever get him finished. I just want to push these areas a bit bigger because I want to push them brighter still, and I can't obviously push them brighter without without a bigger area because then I'll just be going over the layer below it, and eventually I'll lose any transition I've put in. At the moment, I have obviously any transitions I've got there; they're just layering.
Mm.
This one I'm going to feather out, but so far I haven't done anything, sort of any blends. It's just been layering on top of each other, and you can see it's fairly smooth for a tabletop. It would be more than good enough if you weren't looking to push it as far as this. You could still take it this far, and it would be more than good enough on the table. I've lost a little bit of the green here. I don't know if you can see on this side, it's a little bit greener than on this side, just where I've moved more white into the mix. I've obviously used more white on this side. Again, I'm not overly worried about it because I am envisioning in the mid-tones going over with a glaze. So shadows, I'm going to just, before I move higher up, I'm going to do shadows on this foot and just, I'm basically
Just
going to,
looking at that greave, and I'm just like, how are you going to figure out where the light goes on
the what,
that?
which bit, sorry?
That's his greave, so his lower leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like
I'm
yeah.
just going to put lights next to shadows. If it's not in the wrong place, then I don't know. It doesn't matter because the the light's bouncing off the waves in a funny way. That's my
Yes, it's in a magical realm
exactly,
where that's how light works. Yeah,
exactly.
the realm of light. There you go. That's one of the real places.
Is it
Real,
perfect? Spot on.
yeah, realm of
Real.
light.
I knew that. You see. So I've put some hex lichen on my palette.
Mm.
Hexed lichen, sorry. Hex lichen has a airbrush color, but it's a real nice purple. And I've mixed it in with the green I used as the base color. And I'm going to put that in the shadows and just see. Ugh, that tasted horrible. And just see how
Hexed,
it
that's why.
goes. I think it's actually my brush. I'm using a very cheap brush to mix my colours because my Winsor & Newtons are starting to get a bit tired. So I need to,
You need to be more precious with them. Yeah.
yeah, I need to start treating them like princesses for a couple of months before I buy some more. And I'm just trying to go right up against the line here. I'm trying to push the darker shadows against the line of the light on the other
Mhm.
plane of the foot. because obviously there's yellow there, purple here. It'll offer a good contrast. Oops, that's clumsy, wasn't it? That's the problem with not having the model attached very firmly. Normally I'd just be able to wipe that off with my finger before it actually dried, but as soon as I try to wipe it, the model moves instead.
You're out of shot now, though.
Sorry, I just brought it in to fix it. There you go. You never knew anything happened.
Now you know how far behind I am with the delay.
I'm just gonna soften this transition out a little bit. All I'm doing is I've just thinned the paint a little bit more. Gone over it, and then I'm going to go over it again with the highlight color. So I'm happy enough with that color. I think that's the color I'm going to do overall. So next, I suppose there's nothing more to do. I'm trying to put it off as long as I can, but to keep moving up, which means I need to start figuring out what I'm going to do with these bits.
Are you just going to start at the bottom and do a little bit? And
yeah, just keep working my way up until I'm... Yeah, I'm not going to go and base coat everything. I've started this way now. I've started, so I'll finish this way. I'm actually going to change this into 2 different light sources, or light reflections. Same with this, I think. I was lazy today. I didn't change my palette. I just changed the paper on top. That felt like it was drying out already.
Yeah, still like.
No, I've got. We've got a good stock of that. I think we might still be using it in March.
You treated it like loo roll, did you?
Exactly.
Like, might be a lockdown. Get the Christmas kitchen roll.
I'm not overly happy with the way that I've got that looking, but I'll keep persevering, and if I can't get it right, I'll have to go back to it.
I think maybe it's because of the amount of like shadows in the like deeper areas.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking I'm going to do a lesser light source in on the flatter bit. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think it's like a reflection light. And I'll just put the highlights in the opposite place than I've got here. Just kind of, when it's something like this that's very difficult to interpret, I'll just start adding contrast, as much contrast as I can, rather than worrying too much about where the lights are, where it should be, and then eventually it just seems to work.
The eye believes it anyway because you painted it in the right method.
Exactly, yeah. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't look right, it's a mythical creature, and I can just use that as my excuse.
Just get rid of it on eBay.
I wish I could do that. No, actually, I'm happy with that. I think that'll be fine. Right.
Such an interesting shape. I really like it. It's like I didn't even know what it's meant to represent, but it's kind of like scales, I guess. I don't know.
I think so. Yeah. It's not. It's just like an elfy armor, isn't it? It's all very ornate and
completely overworked and ridiculous.
Exactly. It's not like a good old dwarf's armor that's just straight to the point and does the job, is it?
Oh, I don't know. Dwarf armor now is covered in lumpy bits. Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing some like armored dwarves for Age of Sigmar as well. Like maybe.
Is there not any dwarfs or anything?
Yeah. You got so you got Fire Slayers. They're
Ah,
basically
yeah, I've
like
seen that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
naked dwarves, and then you got the Caradhran, which are the Sky
The
Pirates.
sky
But
ones. Yeah.
they don't have like the actual models themselves. The infantry don't have a huge amount of armor. They've got like bits and pieces, and then they've got like masks. But there's no like fully enclosed dwarf.
Traditional dwarfs, I suppose you could
Yeah,
call them.
yeah. But they could do something and have like loads of cogs and stuff
I'm sure they're
like they
listening.
are. Hmm.
Happier with
Well, they
that
must.
side than I am with that side.
Of our many watchers, Games Workshop staff, or the designers. I think actually you have to get John Blanche to come up with the idea, and then
There we go.
they go from there.
Actually, it seems to be less room on this. Oh, it's because I put that light coming out a little bit. Just gonna put a secondary reflection in some of the bigger areas where there's off camera. Am I? It's going to be a much smaller step. It won't be as bright, but it'll just help break up those big, large shadows.
Mm.
And I think I'm going to move away from the yellow more with them. So you can see this one is similar value, it's a similar brightness, but this one's got yellow in. This one hasn't, so it'll just help sell it that it's a reflected light source rather than a main light source.
So what was the first non-metallic thing you did? Was it on a Corn Berserker, or I can remember you've got that Corn Lord guy, haven't you?
The first I actually thought the other day I should find it and just share it in some of the groups just to show people we all have to start somewhere, because the very first thing I did was a Bloodthirster's axe, and it's appalling, like really
I'm
really
sure
bad.
it's not, but I'm
It
sure
is. I'll dig it out and I'll
for
put it in
you
the
it
chat.
is.
It's not, honestly, it's
Is
really
it the
bad.
one? Is it the one that's got the blood base and everything?
No, yeah, but it's not.
Oh, you've done something. It's not
On
that.
him I did metallics. I used true metallics. When I decided to try it and learn it, I thought a
Oh,
bigger.
you used an
I
old
actually
bit.
mistakenly thought a big thing would be easier, which is
Mm.
actually completely reverse. But the first thing I did that was proper is on the cloak of a Corn Berserker.
Mm.
Just as a try, really. And to be fair, it's not overly bad. And then I think the next thing was that Corn Lord. What is he? Exalted Champion, that's the word. I don't even know where I've put him. You can't see him in my display cabinet, so I guess he's in one of my boxes
You
somewhere.
used him against me.
Yeah.
Or 6 months ago now, probably. It's whenever we were
So
allowed to
I probably
play.
threw him away because he lost.
Actually, I might have killed him so badly.
All the non-metallic fell off.
Yeah.
He's just back to grey plastic. I'm quite happy with it. Obviously, it hasn't got the green that I was envisioning. Like I was envisioning a really strong green, but and I was actually worried how I was gonna keep a strong green without and get so much what's the word, range in the value. So how much difference between the bright and the dark. But yeah, I'm just gonna have to go over it with glazes of the ink afterwards, which I could do now. That's a very big what's the word? Not very big, very big part of what I forgot the name. There's Craft World Studios, I think they are. I think they're Polish. A very good couple of painters.
Yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah.
They're very big on glazing afterwards with colours. They're very clever with the way they use colours over models. Sometimes for my taste it's a bit much, but it's very, very clever the way they do it. So I'll probably take a leaf out of their book. They are very, very good. Okay. Just deciding whether I should put the colour on it now, because it's kind of a waste, because I got a feeling I'm going to come back to it and fine tune the lights and that, so I won't. But I'm just going to keep moving up the model. Actually, I better base coat it first, don't I? And then I might actually go for a different tone and actually start working on the chainmail here. If it is really proper chainmail, whatever it is in this
I
little.
think it's the scale armor actually, but
Yeah, I'm going to call it chainmail.
yeah, chain
It's not
isn't
chain,
that.
it's, yeah, you know what I mean.
It's
It's
just not
obviously not
chain.
chain. It's obviously not chain, but you know what I mean when I say chainmail. And I think this bit in here is his trousers. Yeah, keep laughing at me. Ha 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 ha. It's fine. I
All
don't.
right, I
I
will.
don't. I don't
I
take it
will.
personally. I think this is his trousers in here. So I'm gonna. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
I
what
guess.
color I'm gonna do with the trousers.
Would you keep those quite dark just to make the
I'm
armor
not sure.
stand
There's
out?
a part of me that wants to do quite blue. Like I kind of feel he's. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading it wrong, but I kind of feel like he's a king or something, or like a. Maybe he's not in the fluff, but from his pose, like he's very. His chin's
He's
up in the air. He's very.
yeah,
What's the
they
word?
believe him to be a aspect of their god.
So
So
yeah.
yeah,
So I want him to be somewhat. What's the word? Like, what's the word? It's not aristocrat is what I'm thinking of, but that's not the word I'm thinking of. If you know what I mean, that's the word
noble.
that's come to mind. Yeah, noble, something like that. So I'm thinking of going quite a royal blue, but I'm not sure how that'll work with the green. So that's what's in my mind at the moment. But it might just be black, depending on how it all looks. Or
Otherwise, purple's a very
yeah, it's a
royal color as well.
fairly,
Like,
and that will work with the green
mm,
fairly well. Green and purple are pretty good combinations generally.
mm.
Just got to think of
Look at Scooby Doo.
Joker, the Hulk, Scooby Doo. Yeah, it's everywhere. Just gotta let that dry. So I think with the scale armor, then let's not call it chainmail. I'm gonna make that quite a bright silver, just to try and get him to stand out. Normally, if you want something to stand out from something, you generally want to increase the saturation and make it a little bit darker than the thing you want it to stand out from.
Mm.
Um, but I think I want to make it quite bright instead, which doesn't make much sense. But that's what I want to do, so that's what I'm going to do.
Well, you're far enough away from me that I can't stop you. So
Just deciding to add a couple of lights there. I think I'm going to break that up with some shadow. Change my mind. I'm going to do the shadow up against the lip, the same way I did the shoes. Yeah, it's still wet enough. Sneaky wet blend. Perfect. So now I'm just really trying to get that contrast against the shadow, because if I can, anywhere where the shadow touches some light, it's really nice if I can get it really, really bright. Just to help sell the non-metallic. His foot's getting in the way. Okay. Regal, yes, that is the word I was thinking of. Thank you. I just looked over finally. I should have...
sorry, I've gone full screen, so I can't see the chat. Dwarfs don't need armor. Very true. Yeah, naked dwarfs don't. They're armored in anger and big beards.
Really? Is that actually in the fluff? They're armored in anger.
Oh no,
No. Okay.
no. So fire slayers have runes embedded in their flesh, which kind of gives them protection and
Okay.
stuff. And those runes are made out of Urgold, which is not a Bristolian type of gold. It's just what it's called. And it's like fragments of one of the dwarf gods that got killed by which is Grimnir. Yeah, Grimnir. He basically got sent off to fight a big god beast that was like a volcano mountain range beast thing.
Okay.
Whose name I can't remember. Yeah, it like set him on fire, and then it blew up when it died, and that's why there's bits of him everywhere.
I see. That's quite cool.
At least that's what I think is the truth. It has been a long time since I read it, but I'm sure that's what it is. But yeah, they kind of like make runes out of it and then embed it in their flesh. So. And if you're into Gotrek and Felix, or just Gotrek now actually, because Felix is missing in action, Gotrek's got a rune that's like more powerful than all the others.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only one that can handle it because he's voiced by Brian Blessed. So. So is this another armor plate at the top of the leg then, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a separate plate.
And you've just got that kind of patch in the middle of the scale.
Yeah, the scale. I think I'm jumping a step. I need to mix some more colour. Come here. Looks close enough. Struggling then to mix the right colour.
It's interesting actually because he's got that big patch of scale in his chest as well.
Yeah.
It's like arms and his legs are really going to stand out from it.
Well, his arms are hidden in the cloak.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
It's
yeah,
it's just some little hands. Yeah.
He's got little hands.
But I'm not sure if he's got scales on the shoulder pads, or maybe I'm wrong.
I think he does on one of the variants, maybe on both.
Yeah, he has on the tops.
Oh yeah, so you can barely, you really can't see his arms, can you?
Yeah. No, it's very little. Yeah. They're actually in the cloak. I didn't realise. Sorry.
The legs are really going to stand out, aren't they?
Hopefully.
Yeah. I think those are plates over the top of the cloak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm calling them shoulder pads just out of, I don't know.
Oh, no, I thought, sorry, I thought you said they were part of the cloak.
No. No, the arms are part of the cloak.
Yeah.
I don't really want the bits in the middle to be as bright as the bits elsewhere, but I just felt they needed a little something to stand out. Oops. I'm not actually sure now if that is his trousers showing through or his... No. Not on that bit, no. I knew they showed up on this knee here.
Oh, is that actually got armor plate, is it?
Yeah, so I've got to do that bit as well. Excellent. I'll just do that bit quickly, and then go on to this different colour. The what's the word? I was going to say chainmail again. The scale armor. The reason
that makes a bit more sense though that plate goes round the leg.
Yeah,
there,
you would have thought so.
Thinking that armor piece was just a bit pointless.
It's just strange that they've done this bit. Okay.
Well, open behind the.
Yeah. Okay. I should do the back as well.
Considering that he's got overlapping plates on his feet,
mm-hmm.
It's weird that he doesn't have overlapping plates around the knee as well. Because obviously it's the same technology you use to protect The point of overlapping plates is that you don't get bits of skin showing, you know. But maybe he's just not expecting to get hit from above. I don't know. He's worried about his feet because they dangle at the bottom.
He's just had a manicure, or whatever it's called. Doesn't want to get damaged.
Or maybe it's probably deliberate to break the color up when they paint it.
No, yeah. Okay. I haven't done those fins that are sticking out here on his upper calf yet, just because I'm toying with the idea of doing them differently. I don't know in what way yet, but that's why I haven't. Did that a little bit too thick. I'm just going to go and put some shadow there. It's really awkward with this spike from the knee sticking out there. This bit's very much in the dark, so or in the shadow rather. But I'm just going to put like a bouncing light off this. So actually, I want to take it from the more white section. So I'm going to do the scale armor now. I'm going to go for quite a strong blue base. So quite saturated. Normally, like I said earlier, I'd use the deep sea blue and go for what am I trying to say? Go for quite a desaturated blue. I mean, I'm desaturating obviously with black to start with. And we'll see how it goes. I think it's okay. Just want to go around it, make sure I'm not going to get it on any of the bits I've painted, and then I can just base coat it a bit rougher. I am going to have to figure out how to mount this properly for the rest of the painting.
It's bothering you, isn't it?
It is annoying me.
It's being a tricksy elf.
I was going to try and do some Gollum noises, but
no, not on. Please, just don't do it. Okay, no.
So you can see the blue showing through there now when I add the white to it. I want to let that dry because I want to be able to pick out each plate individually and leave the dark color shining through rather than having to edge highlight each. Not edge highlight. What am I trying to say? Like line each one. I think I'm not going to be patient enough though. I'll start here. It's kind of dry. This could be more blue than I want, but we'll see. Brush is dry.
Silent because I'm like watching to see how it comes out.
Oh, stay still, man.
So are you going to try and make these plates look brighter than what's around them?
Yeah, yeah,
More reflective?
yeah. I don't know about more reflective, but just brighter.
Mm.
I will put like a bit of reflection, like a curve to it, just to help show the shape. And why'd they stick that thing right in the way?
They're obviously thinking, well, when Rich comes to paint this room,
Yeah, I thought I did. I just dragged that through a little drop of water that was on the palette. I'm sorry. It's not going to come off. Come on. Oh, there we
what
go.
have you done?
Right, that's easier. I don't normally like to hold the models, especially with airbrush priming. I find the primer can come off. That's why I'm wearing a glove. Not because I don't really mind about my hands getting dirty. It's more to try and protect the model. I find
Stop you getting any diseases or viruses the model might be carrying.
I find that when I don't wear gloves with airbrush priming, I can take paint off for some reason. I think my skin secretes some kind of paint stripper.
I don't know what. Yeah,
You don't know what to say to that, eh?
I was trying to think of something nice to say. I just couldn't. Everything was horrible. So
I don't think there's much you can say to that. That is nice, to be fair. So I'm reasonably
when I say
happy with
nice,
that.
I don't mean like a compliment. You know.
Ah,
But isn't that? Yeah, it definitely stands out so far, doesn't it? Which is what you want.
yeah, but it's
The
not
difference in colour.
it's not
Yeah.
clashing at the same time too much.
Mm.
I think it'll be quite nice. I think it'll help tie it into the
I
cloak.
think as you kind of like do this like the spotlights on it or whatever it's going to blend it in a bit more anyway,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. I mean that blue is really just a mid-tone.
So are you gonna go bright on every single scale, or are you gonna do like a certain row of them brighter than the rest?
I'm going to do them all quite bright, and then I'm probably going to tone like the outside of it down.
Mm,
Is what I'm thinking at the moment with a glaze or something. I want to kind of get the feel of it being a curve, so you
mm.
want this section to
Sort of
be
cylindrical thing,
brighter. Yeah, it's almost like a ball. Actually, I'm going to try and make it look a bit more, not just a curve, but more of a globe to it. I know it's not actually a globe, but I want to just put that feeling. I don't know
yeah.
why. And I quite like when, especially with things like this, having them each one slightly differently. Don't
Mm,
try and get each one the same brightness or the same tone.
yeah. Because as the leg moves, and
Exactly.
it will move all the plates slightly
Yeah.
differently, won't it? Yeah.
So I'm just going to make this sort of a small circle here a bit brighter. Just taking a bit of purple here. One of these. Which one is it? I can't see it now. This one. I went a bit too close to the edge, so I've
Mm.
lost the break between the plates or the scales. And then I've wet that down a little bit more and or thinned the paint down on the brush a little bit more. and I'm just going over around the outside just to help tie the middle in. No, I'm happy enough with that. I mean, it'll need some refining to really push it to display level. But for now, while I'm just trying to sort of feel my way,
Map it out at the moment, aren't you? Still,
it'll be a sketch for the whole model, to be fair, and then I'll start again. I'll come back here and start really pushing it. It's a bit boring for you guys to tell you the truth, but there is no there is shortcuts to it, but none that I'm good enough to do. So I'm going to start down the back now of the leg, and again, it's going to be exactly the same, to be fair. Here, I'm going to do a light here. Yeah. I thought this guy would be done in this tonight's stream. It's certainly not going to happen. I remember planning it out. I was going to be one stream to do the cloak, one stream to do the dude, and one stream for the base. But
well, you've only been on him just over an hour actually. So
and I've done
actually it's probably not even an hour.
And maybe
chatting at the start.
40% of the leg of one leg, of the front of one leg.
I think the legs are probably the hardest part, though, aren't they?
They are, to be fair. I mean, it is, to be fair. Most of the arm is this is simple enough. The back is the back. It's like there's not much that people are going to see. So yeah, no, you are right. To be fair.
Of course.
Of course. How could I question that? Obviously, these ones are reflection. Well, I was going to say reflection of the ground, but obviously he's not standing on the ground. Normally, you do the feet. You have one that's reflection of like the light or the surroundings, and then one reflection of the ground. So it's always slightly less bright than the others. But in this case, it's reflections of I don't know the water,
the cloak.
The cloak, yeah. My paint seems to be thinning itself.
Have you got like next gen paint or something?
No, sometimes it happens. I think
for you.
I think I've put my palette paper the wrong way around. The breaking paper. One way lets water through a little bit more. It's like a glossy side and not. I'm not convinced that's right yet, but that's just what seems. Sometimes it seems to happen to me, and I always use the same palette paper, so I think it's the way I put it around. Normally, I try to make a point of putting the glossy. There's always a glossier side putting out, but I wasn't as careful today when I changed the paper.
Are you gonna put the leg up against the cloak just to see? I was just thinking before you keep going,
the painting side,
just to make sure. Yeah,
I think it'll be okay. Definitely, I'm going to be glazing it
because
with
the inside of the cloak isn't going to be as bright anyway, is it?
The inside won't. Well, up here now it's going to be quite dark. Where is it? He goes in. How does he fit in there like that?
Yeah, kind of a funny angle on the neck. Yeah,
I was trying to put him in straight in. So he is sort of from this angle. I think it'll be okay. I'm not overly worried. I think especially once I've I'm going to put quite a strong. Let's just do it quickly. Quite a strong green over the top. And I'm quite sure that's going to help lift him out.
Break it up a bit, yeah.
Especially once the whole arm is sort of that kind of colour. It will bring it out quite a bit.
Yeah, I can see where that's going to go. Yeah.
Can you? Oh, I've not got it on the screen again.
No, I can. No, that's what I mean. I can. What I meant is I could imagine it over there. Yeah.
I'm fairly confident because the saturation will be. I'm going to go quite saturated with it, so I'm quite confident it's not going to get lost too much. Famous last words. Just going to edge highlight this all again because I've lost it. What I'll probably do, actually no. Okay, I was about to say what it was something I was thinking of doing, and I was planning on doing it, but I can't now. I was going to be going putting a filter over it with the airbrush to get the saturation up, but because I've started painting that, I'd end up doing that as well.
Where the scales are.
Yeah, because doing it with an airbrush, it just helps smooth stuff out a little bit more. I find as well than just going over a glaze with a brush, especially with an ink. It doesn't tend to smooth out blends as well as the airbrush does. My glove keeps getting stuck to his spikes as well now. Do something quite simple.
Just imagine how nasty they'd be in a battle.
If he
People
spikes my
apart with them.
gloves, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just cheat on this because it's right at the back.
So you're going to do the under the sole in metallics as well?
Yeah, but just it's very rough. Like it's not going to be seen hardly, you know.
And it's probably going to be the most scratched surface on him.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he walks anywhere, but
He floats.
Glides. He caresses the air with his movements.
Exactly.
I don't know. Should probably leave that.
Okay, I've played with that too much. I'm separating it. Okay, that's good enough for the back. I'll put some brighter highlights on it later. Oh, my paint's getting too thin. Doesn't look like it's thin, but it's just not covering very well. That's better. Maybe I just picked up a bad bit.
I think that's actually a much better angle to be looking at the shapes from because
Mm-hmm.
it goes all the way round, doesn't it? That like spiral,
Yeah,
is it?
yeah. It's not. It's almost like a shell kind of shape. I think. I'm not going to do those bits gold. I know that now anyway. Don't think that will look right.
Is that like a gem in the middle? Is it? Or
Yeah, a little.
I see. Yeah.
Got to be careful where I'm looking at it upside down. I'm not gonna.
Put the light in the wrong place. Yeah.
I was just realizing I was just putting it kind of.
Doing that in your head. Do 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 do.
Exactly.
Hiding from us what you're doing now as well.
Sorry.
All right.
There's a part of me that really wants to change to a different color in that I'm using to mix, just to add some variation to the armor. Seeing as
What
how
color would you go for?
I was literally thinking to pick up. I've got sunny skin tone, which is like an orangey skin tone, e-color. Funnily enough, just to try and bring some variation in the armor. And as soon as I'm playing with colors, it seems
Yeah, you might as well do it. Yeah.
I think I will in a minute. Now I've just got to figure out where to put it. Was that my brightest colour? I don't think it was it? Hello? You still there?
Hello.
Yeah, so I just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
had a
Sorry,
little like a dunk.
I was just having a quick drink, so I turned the mic off.
Ah,
Sorry.
okay. I thought maybe I'd lost you. I thought I was on my own.
We're always truly alone. No, that's the wrong. We're never truly alone, isn't it? Oh, oh well.
Depends.
Depends who you're asking.
Think I am.
Oh.
Okay.
So his is that like a belt sash he's got or something like that?
Yeah,
What colour are you thinking with that?
probably
Something that
white.
really stands out?
No, probably
Mm.
white. Probably white. I think the gems is about as far as I'm going to go for something shining bright.
Mm.
That green is so blue on the camera. It's like so green in real life. I'll put a picture in the chats, but honestly, it's so green. That's crazy. I didn't notice that before, but it really is. I might actually, just to try not to make it as boring for you guys, I might actually move on to and just do a gem now anyway. Might be a little interesting thing to do, and I didn't actually get any paints for that, but just give me 2 seconds to grab the paints.
The big question is, what colours is he going to go for? Pretty sure he said red. Who knows? Rich knows. He did say red. There we go.
Yes,
Did you get that fleshy orange as well?
I did, but that's also part of the gem mix. So this is what I'm going to use to do the gems, and probably some white, maybe a bit of yellow, but I've got lots of yellow here where I was interpreting gold. Or interpreting, that's the wrong word, planning or thinking about considering gold for the armor. So this will be base coat, black red. I probably will just put a bit of black in it first though, because I want the gem to be quite a dark one, quite a deep one. Gems are really easy, you just have to build up the colour to the basically highlight it in reverse of normal. So you just following the shape of the volume still. So in this case it's an oval shape, but you build up the colour towards the bottom.
Is that because that's where the light is coming out of it
Yeah.
as it's reflected through?
Yes, yeah. You want the top to be really dark, as if it's not getting lit at all, to the point where I'm going to go over the top with black. The top sort of third, almost, or top quarter. And that's where we're going to put little bit dots of white later on. Is it shut? It's probably not showing up on the camera yet. And then I should have put my white red on the palette while I was doing it.
So this is a white red, is it?
This is Chimera Colors.
Oh, Chimera.
The red is what it's called.
The red. I see.
Because it's the red. That is a very, very nice red. Just gonna mix a darker red with a little bit of the base tone in as well. So I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I'm basically just putting a U to my highlight, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Making a crescent shape.
Exactly. There we go. I'll paint you a little gem. Except my black doesn't show up. Except my black's not showing up. I just
did it.
No, it's so tiny that it's hard to see. And I can't zoom in because my thing doesn't focus very well if I do that. And each time I'm just making my crescent a little bit smaller with each consecutive layer.
That's super blurry there.
Yeah, it does. Sorry.
There we go. Oh yeah, that looks nice.
No, it's not focused on my little sketch there. Right.
Given up.
So then I'm going to add some sunny skin tone into the mix. Because it's so small, I'm making quite big jumps.
Hmm.
If obviously it was bigger, I'd be needing to... Oh, there's a puddle of water there. Puddle of water everywhere. If it was bigger, I'd need to be making smoother or smaller steps to keep the transition smooth. But if I tried to make smaller steps on something this small, then I
It's a
wouldn't.
bit of a waste
Yeah,
of time, isn't it?
it's just not possible. Or not possible. Very difficult. How much color you bring in sort of gives an impression of how deep the gem is.
Or you mean the physical depth of it?
Yeah.
Like
So if
bottom,
you make it
from
only a little
yeah.
bit of light shining out the bottom, then you get the impression of it being quite deep. If you do the whole thing quite red, then it'll look a little bit shallower. I'm just going to bring some of the mid red higher. I splodged that on there a little bit by accident there.
As Gimli said, it was deliberate.
Exactly. And then I'm going to take a bit more of the yellow. And just again, each time I'm trying to stay inside my previous layer and make it smaller than the last.
Mm.
And then I'm just going to use some pure sunny skin tone and just go on the very edge of it, the very middle of it rather, sorry.
I like the way you whisper what you're going to do to
Sorry.
make sure it behaves. It's just
Sorry, it's very small area.
Yeah, but it's a tried and tested technique, you know.
It is. And then just either one or two or some form of lights shining off the bottom. Now you can glaze over if you want. You can make it smoother. I will just add a little bit more saturation to the mid-tone. You generally want to try and have the color get whatever color you're doing. Try and have the color go warmer as it exits. That's why I used like the sunny skin tone instead of using a white to brighten my red. Because that just helps again sell the idea that light's shining through it. I'm glazing it one more time, but it means I'm gonna have to add the highlight again at the bottom.
You're just trying to make it look more red, I guess.
Yeah, and also trying to tie it all together and make it feel like it's coming out from underneath by having the transition quite smooth. The transition was a little bit rough, perhaps. And then
That's really helped sell the armor as well, because there was obviously that big black bit in the middle where light wasn't behaving.
And then the final thing I'm going to do is just round the edge of it. I'm just going to go around in black, just again to really help sell the depth, especially if you've gone down right to the edge of red with red. It wouldn't really be like that. It's only out on the very surface the light starts shining through. And that's it. That's how I do a gem. It's not the brightest thing. If I need to do the edge around it to make it really work, because it's kind of lost with the black around it. I'm thinking to do that little bit of metal that's holding it the same as that, but I'm undecided if I probably shouldn't. I probably should do it the same as how I've done it. I think if I do
What, you mean the rest of the leg?
Yeah, I think if I do it in anything different, I think it's going to look strange. So let's go for it. So such a small piece. It's I was going to try and do it similar to how I've done here, with light on this side and dark on this side. I suppose I could still do that actually. It just means I need to edge highlight it to get it to work on this side. So I'm coming in the opposite side of where I've put the lights, putting that shadow color, which it doesn't really show up too much, but it'll be enough to, it'll be there to sell the idea.
Mm.
And I'm going to put a little curve of color on this bit. Yeah, I won't go to the full highlight. I mean, to be fair, none of these are full highlight. I will go brighter when I refine it.
Yeah, it's better. It's really pulled the leg together getting that done as well, I think.
There's a couple of more gems on there as well. I might actually just do as well. Put a little bit of shadow on this opposite end. And then I've got to try and edge highlight it, which I'm not looking forward to. It's going to be tricky.
Just put it on a bigger screen, it'd be easier.
If only. I need to adjust that small dot as well. On the gem, it's not quite right. It's the first one I did is a bit too big. Okay. Try and edge highlight the whole thing now without losing the shadow, which is quite tricky with small things like this. It's quite easy to
just paint over what you just done.
Yeah. Is that going to show up? I'm trying to decide if it actually has a lip. I don't think it does. I thought it had like a little lip around the gem. Where's my black? Just went a bit too close here. Just make that light spot a little bit smaller. There we go. I'm happy with that. And the focus has gone. It's gone again. There we go.
Ooh.
Excuse me. No, I'm happy with that. I think that's good.
Mm.
You know what? I'm going to get rid of the two lights. I don't like the two lights though. On the gem.
It's a bit too much for the size, or
I don't know. I'm going to make that one. I'm going to make the one
there.
that's there bigger. Although to be fair, on the screen it looks quite big, but
Mm.
well, maybe I'll leave it and I'll come back to it and just see. Now I've done it, I'm kind of also feeling perhaps I should have done that part a different colour to make it stand out. But I think it's okay. I think I'll live with it like that.
I think it works like that, yeah.
What I might do is just try and break the edge of it. To be fair, it doesn't need it. I was going to try and line it around the very edge of it just to lift it out from the piece, but it is well out in terms of how it's sculpted. I just wanted to bring it. I think it's okay. I'm not overly. There's something about it I don't like. I just can't quite put my finger on it. But I think if I did do a different color or did it gold like I was thinking, or this bit up here, I
think it's because to me it looks like it's not straight with the leg, and I think that's actually the sculpt.
No, yeah. No, it's good.
But then that whole like top piece kind of curves in and out, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's very strange as well. What I've done here. There's actually a little gem there as well.
So I've been on full screen for too long, not paying attention to the chat. So we did have a question about what inks you use for glazing. I'm presuming that you mean the brands.
So the inks I use are Liquitex. I find them quite good, and I can get them easily from Amazon. Unfortunately, when I want something, if there's a color I want or I run out, I'm not organised enough to get it in advance. So if I want it, I want to get it here quickly, which is why I buy it through Amazon. But I hear pretty much any artist ink will be good enough. So Liquitex, Winder and Newton, Daily Rowler, or however you say it, Rowney, they are supposed to be very good. And there's another one as well, F something, FW. You see them in some of the like Facebook groups and that are quite good. But most inks are good enough. I haven't really tried. Actually, no, that's not true. I've got some Scale 75 inks. I didn't like them as much. I found them almost too strong. Actually, I found them very hard to thin enough um, to glaze with.
Mm.
These you can thin quite nicely. They keep the color, but um, you don't end up with too much. You don't.
Yeah, you can
Oh yeah,
choose the
I
impact
think
properly.
they're not as translucent. I think is probably what it is, rather than the color being too strong. I think they don't go as translucent as these do, while still keeping the color. Like that's what I done here. It's hardly shown. Actually, that was paint. If I can show you on this, if I can open it. Oh, these really keep their color while still being really transparent. So if
So you thin it down. Yeah, you would thin it a lot of the time, wouldn't you?
not really with inks. They're very thin. I actually tend not to. Now I don't think I haven't thinned any of my paints. I just control how much water's on my brush. So I kind of do, I suppose, but I don't like add
You thin it
water
with what? Yeah, you thin it with your brush more than with
or my
like
mouth, if
a
I'm
brush.
honest. Um,
Yeah,
but
I a brush liquor.
yeah, but I don't really that often add water to it. Um, I just control how much is on my brush, and that does the thinning for me. So I'll put some on here, and you can see how it changes the color, but quite strongly or very strongly, but it doesn't really. You can still see the difference, the layers underneath,
Mm.
if that makes sense. But
Yeah,
I see, yeah. So I'm seeing the chat now. Yeah, no, I haven't tried the Vallejo inks, but with the scale 75 inks, definitely for whatever reason, I found them not as nice as the artist inks to use. Um, I'd definitely recommend getting some artist inks, artist acrylic inks. They
do you think
definitely.
they've been deliberately designed to work in a different way,
I
or?
think so. I think they've deliberately
Mm.
overpowered them. I'm not sure why really. I don't know. I haven't tried the Vallejo ones. I can't comment. Um, I just know I've gotten better with these than the Scale 75 inks I tried. And I generally, if you in some of the painting groups I'm in, whenever anyone talks about ink, they always are talking about the artist inks rather than the acrylic inks. So I never really, also the game company inks, if you like. So I never really tried any of the other game companies. To be fair, they might be perfect. I don't know. Just gonna. Well, I've got the
You
paint on
said
my palette.
he had the artist white for Zenithal, but he's not used the others. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, the titanium white is like the best white you can get anyway. The pigment is
Mm.
really good. Um, and with it in an ink form, it's even better, just because you won't get any chalking like you do with the whites we're used to.
Mm.
So I'm just doing these two gems that are here while I've got the paint, and um, this one does have a lip. These ones are tiny, especially this one up here. There's some tiny gems here. I don't know if they even show up. I'm gonna have to pull out my magnifying glass for them. Which I've even forgotten where I mixed everything. On this one up here, I'm probably going to skip a few steps because it's so small. It's just not worth even
Is that
trying.
where's? Yeah.
Just
Oh, so there's one there as well. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm
I
probably
keep having to go on full screen to be able to see what you're
and you
talking
can
about.
see there's some little
Uh,
tiny ones in his crotch
oh
area.
yeah, yeah.
So if I do them all red, I might do a couple of them a different, especially the ones up here where they're in a line. I might just mix in some different colours just for some interest. I need to be careful because his body's slanted at an angle, so I need to make sure. Obviously, I want the light to be coming in from above. So I need to do the gem slightly, the light exiting slightly to an angle.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I hope
I do.
I'm not
Yeah.
explaining it very well.
You want it to follow the direction that the light comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was way too big.
It's all right. We couldn't see it anyway.
Oh, in that case, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It's not great either, but it will do. No, it won't. It won't do. I looked at it first, and I thought first of all it's okay, but then I looked. No, it needs to come more to the back here. Yeah, he's more or less like that, I think. Okay.
Mm.
Let's see some of this. That one does have a lip going all the way around it. He's sticking to my gloves again. He's spiking me.
Wants to be your friend. So the bigger one does it?
Yeah, not the small one.
Mm.
So I just want to make it stand it out. I'm just sort of dotting the light around there just to make it a bit more interesting and make it look like it's had a few knocks and stuff. But I need to line that because it is a little bit getting lost, the shape of it. So this is basically what a wash would do. I'm just going around the edges. But I generally prefer to do it like this instead of using a wash because I have more control over where everything's going. And I can get it wrong like that and mess the whole thing up, but it doesn't matter too much. I just need to go over that bit I got wrong. If you probably can't see, it's tiny. And then I want to break this here. There we go. It's kind of a weird shape. It's not quite a spiral. It kind of melds and sort of melds. Yeah, melds into itself almost. It's hard to decipher.
It's kind of. I guess it's because I'm assuming it's meant to be two plates that are meeting.
I don't think
and
it
that's why it's
is.
got like a kind of ridge going down it.
I don't know. When I first looked at it, when I first looked at it on the screen anyway, where it's bigger, I kind of thought, have I just stuck it together? Mismatched. If
Oh,
that
off
makes sense.
center.
But
Yeah.
then I remembered it's all one piece, so
Mm.
I can't have done.
Because obviously on normal armor like that, you have a front plate and a back plate that are
Yeah,
hinged.
it doesn't.
So I don't know whether it's meant to represent.
It doesn't look like it. It looks to me, especially the way this one's all curved. It looks like
Well,
it's all
is there a
one.
ridge down the back as well?
No, I reckon he is his armor. He's living his armor.
Oh, he's got such delicate feet that you can just
Just
slide
in.
Yeah.
So I'm using a bit of the orange now, mixed into that green.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to use that to highlight the secondary reflections. So these are reflections that aren't caused by a light source. They're like light, this light bouncing into that, this light bouncing. You know what I mean? So it's all, everything's all,
Diffuse.
yeah, it's slightly less. Sorry,
Technical word.
slightly less saturated and a little bit more. I just want a different tone, essentially.
Mm.
It helps bring interest to the model as well, not just having all one colour. That's a gem there. I nearly painted it like it was a.
Are those gems all the way down there as well then?
What, in here you mean?
Yeah.
No, there's just bare metal there.
Oh,
There's
is
just
it?
a gem.
Oh, okay.
I hope there is.
There's no
It's
sculpted
just the
gem or
way I've
anything.
highlighted it. It's just to make it look,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
isn't really what I want
Yeah.
actually. It isn't what I want at all, to be fair. But it's what I've done. No, there's just a gem here.
Mm.
You know what? I'm actually going to change that. The way I've highlighted the inside there.
Yeah, that looks better already.
Mm-hmm. I wanted a bit of colour in there, but I'm going to put it on the bottom rather than in the centre.
Mm.
The same way I would if I was painting, if I was sort of freestyling on a dent. I wouldn't put it in the middle. Freestyling, freehanding.
It's like in my head. I'm
Oh,
like,
what was that song?
Tyler.
That's the one I was just thinking of.
I can't even remember who did
It's
it.
so long ago.
That's Wild Wild West, isn't it? Is that it?
I
No,
can't
it's
remember.
not.
Wasn't it like, are they Swedish or some group? There was some.
I can't remember.
I'm gonna have to find it now later on.
Okay, I'm not. I'll just go to sleep or something.
Yeah, I won't be
You
able
can
to.
go
No.
tonight looking for it.
I'll find it at like 1:30 and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send me a message and wake me up. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. No, I'm quite happy with that actually. Considering I was quite nervous and how it was. That's the one. Thank you, Aiden. I knew Aiden would know it.
Oh, is he? Oh, yeah, I haven't come
Yeah.
up on mine.
Yeah. Boom.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I knew I'd
Gosh,
find it just because, yeah, his
I've got such a
favourite kind of
delay.
thing. Sorry?
I've got such a delay. I don't know how to do anything about it. I don't think I can.
No, I'm very happy with how it's turning out, considering I was quite nervous and wasn't really sure how it was going to work. I'm pretty pleased with it.
Are you thinking with the spikes to
I'm
doing?
still not sure.
Doing that the silver or the blue? You know the.
Part of me wants. I really don't know. There's a part that's making me think to do them kind of a coral color, like a reddy
Oh
orange.
yeah. That would look really nice,
I
actually.
know, but I'm moving. See, with him, I wanted quite a monochromatic sort of eerie tone to him, which I think I achieved quite well with the waves. But the more I'm painting him, the more I'm moving away from it. Maybe that's not a bad thing.
Mm.
It will certainly help pull the push the waves to the background.
Mm.
But I don't know. So I'm going to keep leaving it until I make up my mind which way I want to go. Sorry, this is the reason why I'm such a slow painter.
In my head, I was just like you're doing the moving things around bit again.
This is why I'm a slow painter. I spend a long time looking at it and just trying to work out what to do next if I'm happy with it, etc., etc. It's not actually the painting bit that slows me down. It's the looking at it. I'm just putting some glazes here of shadows just to pop the contrast a little bit more.
I think that's an important part of it, though, really, isn't it? It's being able to like not just depending. Obviously, it depends on what level you're trying to paint to. But when you're painting to the level that like this, you need to be able to look at it and like refresh your mind on what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah,
and
just try and I don't know. I really don't know why I'm doing it. Really, I'm just
get gooder.
trying to trying to make sure I'm going the way I want it and looking to see what to do next. Really, half the time there isn't actually an edge here. It's all one flat piece, but I kind of feel like there should be, so I'm going to try and make one.
Or is that where the spiral?
Yeah, I
goes,
kind of feel it should spiral around here.
Mm.
It does down this way. Or does it? No, it doesn't. It's flat there as well, but it's going to now.
Will it make it easier to get the reflections anyway if you sort of continue it?
What do you mean, sorry?
You know where to place the light and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, kind of. I mean, in a way, I already have. I don't know if I did that subconsciously, or
Mm.
maybe I thought there was a ridge here, the way I've put this one. It's also because I wanted to put the shadows here.
Mm.
Shadows look very weird if there's no, especially ones
No
against an
light.
edge. Yeah.
Mm.
I could have let the shadow come all the way out here
Mm.
instead. But then I want to put the shadow against this side. It's not covering very well. My paint's drying out. I've got problems with some paint thinning too much and some paint drying out. What's going on today? And
New year, new problems. You know.
Let's be honest, if that's the worst of my problems, then it's not that bad, is it really? I'm just going to put a quite strong light here. Yeah, no, that's better. I'm happy with that. And just edge highlight going along here. Why is that not picking up? There's so many things on this model that's always in the way. It's a fun model to paint, but they certainly didn't make it an easy one. It's a good challenge for a centerpiece, to be fair. Who knows? Maybe this will kick me off now to start a AOS army.
We've already been down that path. It's not happening.
It's not, is it? No.
Anything that's got the word army after it is.
I do like the turtles as well, though.
Yeah.
And the sharks.
Do you like the eels?
Not as much. Is it sharks or is it
Oh,
eels they're riding?
there's both.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought
See,
it
if you
was.
really like the eels, you'd be able to play quite successfully because that's
They're
their like
filth, are they?
power units. Yeah.
I think you know well enough that
You'd almost hate them without even knowing it. You know, you could smell it.
I was going to say, I think you know well enough that I don't really want to play the power. I don't mind whether they're
No,
powerful or not, but you also know me well enough that even if I had all the powerful units, I'd still lose. Sorry, I just hit my mic.
it's looking pretty.
No, I'm happy with that. I think this will look quite a good model once I get round everywhere, which would happen quicker if I stopped just looking at it.
I do distract you a lot as well. I'm sorry, but it's fun.
It's also I'm trying to think what I can do that's because I don't want, obviously you guys don't want to spend just watching me do the same thing over again, so I'm trying to look for things that I
Spent the
know
other leg 2 hours. Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
exactly.
What about I still think you should paint that bit coral that you
Okay, let's see what it looks like. What does coral look like?
it's
Like a
hugely varied.
yeah.
Like the actual coral itself is kind of a sandy, orangey sort of color. Yeah. I guess it probably depends on where the coral is. Actually, you probably find there's
I put way too much black into that. Might have to start again with that.
I'd say it's probably lighter than that, but obviously that might.
This would just be the base tone.
Mm. Yes.
Huh?
It's almost fleshy, isn't it? Mm.
Okay, let's just see what happens. This is very fleshy. Oh, I just had an idea of trying to make it look like those flaps in between are see-through. Well, not see-through,
Ooh.
but letting light through. That would be quite
Yeah,
tricky.
so it's almost like a flesh.
like I thought about it being like a fin, because essentially that's what it's
Mm.
sculpted as, or
Sculpt.
modelled as. And maybe this thing's its eye. Like, it's like a fish.
You just, I just imagine it going around the battlefield going,
I bet right now this. No.
goldfish. Yeah. That goes with that kind of greeny colour
Yeah,
quite
no, I
nicely.
quite like it. It works with the red and
Mm.
the green together. I think that's fine.
So you're going to paint it to look metallic or deliberately kind of
No,
pastely?
it's going to be pastel, skinny,
Mm.
and yeah, fleshy.
He's propelled by fish that he rams in his armor.
Exactly. That's how he's flying along
Yeah.
with a wave on
Guppies.
his back. He's got fish stuck in his socks.
Mm.
I can't get in there very well. Oh, this paint is horrible.
Was that the same paint you just put on again?
No.
Oh, two different colours.
Yeah. What do you reckon?
Mm. Maybe need a little bit darker at the base where it meets, or not? I don't know.
I was thinking of glazing a red, quite a strong red, maybe an
Oh,
ink,
okay. Yeah.
going in between like the valleys as well.
I like the colour, but obviously you've gone from like quite a well, obviously it's metallic against flesh, isn't it? So
This red is very, very strong, so I am actually going to thin this one just a little bit. But again, it's only what's on my brush. Am I on the camera? But not focused. Because I was thinking of doing the headdress, whatever this thing is, like
mm.
in a similar style to how I'm
Yeah,
doing here, but I'd have more um, more going
a bit
on
more. Yeah, a
into
bit
the
more
colours, because
variant.
obviously this is nowhere near as big.
Yeah,
The
that's looking better.
colours are definitely not showing up well on here. I don't know what I can do. Probably not a lot. I think it might be the software, because it's the same. Like, these are two different phones, but it's the same one. Watch me drop him now. I just thought that
It
was.
twists as well, so it lands, down where he's done all the work. Yeah.
No, I quite like that actually. I think that's good. The flash
Mm.
on that. Again, in real life, I think the colours work. The colours are stronger, and it all kind of pops, but also is quite harmonious.
Mm.
Okay.
The more I look at his greave,
Mhm.
the more I think it's like the head of a seahorse or something.
Mhm. No, I see what
With
you
the eye.
mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it is there. There's something there. Either way, it's just supposed to look very oceanic, Very.
Because then that would be the bit you've just painted would be like its ear frill thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Could just be accidental that that's how it's turned out.
Jeez, really 10:30.
Yes, it is. Is that a sign that
Oh my
you're
god! Sorry,
we're quite happy if you want to stop now,
I don't mind.
but
I'm running out
what
of
do you
stuff
want to do
to
next?
do that's different from what I've done that
Mm,
I'm ready to do. If you know what I mean.
yeah.
Like I could.
So in real terms, then, if you were to carry on now, would you just finish that leg off, do the other leg, and then start thinking what to do next, or?
Yeah, so I'd do what I've done here everywhere. So I'd probably do the gems. I'd do the chainmail because the chainmail is quite an important piece here. Like this is going to be the piece that brings attention to the face.
Mm,
Obviously, the head with this model, the headdress, the crest. I don't know, the crest. I'm going to call it because headdress sounds wrong. Is really going to be bringing the attention to the face. And that's part of why I was thinking of doing it. Like this is actually why I'm assuming whether I'm assuming this is also what the GW painter was thinking when they did it. Like this is by having the color come in here again. It's bringing the viewer's eyes this way.
mm, yeah.
You always go towards saturation. Generally, you always go towards
Mm,
darker. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but generally a darker color that's the same color than the
mm,
lighter color. If that makes sense, well, your eyes will go towards as a darker color.
mm.
That's the same color. I hope you know what I mean there. I'm not explaining it very well. If you had two colors that
Uh,
were the same,
yeah,
but one was slightly darker, which means obviously they're not the same. But if essentially they were the same, but
it's the
one looked,
same
yeah,
like pigment or
hue
whatever.
and everything.
Yeah,
If it was just a little bit darker, your eyes would be drawn to that one. Is what I'm trying to say.
yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I was thinking to do there. Is because I haven't decided how to do his face yet. If I'm going to do it like this, quite a pale sort of traditional elfin pale or face. Sorry. Well, I
Hmm.
did see a couple of quite nice ones where it was almost zombified, like undead,
Mm.
which I quite like the idea of, but I don't think it's going to work in the armor I've chosen because obviously my armor's kind of green-ish, and oh yeah, so I'm not
The
really
way
sure.
that I think if with the Deepkin, the skin changes as you go from like the lower ranks up to the higher ranks as well, because the Thralls, which are like the lowest rank,
Mm-hmm.
um, they're basically born without proper souls, or so they like don't have eyes and stuff like that. So
I
they're
see.
like a subspecies almost. Whereas the like highborn are like almost pure elf, so like original elves.
Okay, okay.
So
So I should really do him a traditional elfin. I'll see how I feel once I've done the
yeah,
armor.
but
I just
he's
realised.
less likely to be sort of zombie looking.
Oh,
But
he's got a plate that I should have stuck on there. That's a bit annoying. I should have read the instructions properly. There's a little fish thing that's supposed to go on top of his head.
yeah,
I could. I'll have
yeah,
to.
and
I
that's
have
got
to
a nice little
prime it
peg hole,
separately and then stick it on.
peg hole for sticking it on. Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Um. So probably
Just
then, what I'll do is aim to get this finished like this everywhere.
mhm.
Um. By 2 weeks' time, not next week. I'm not going to achieve that, so I'm not going to make promises I can't keep. And we can maybe do part 3 then.
Yeah, sure.
And
Did you want to do a stream next week as well, or
yeah, I'm happy to do something. So I think we
continuation?
had a couple of things, didn't we? People asked for. Um, I
Yes.
think maybe we could do a couple of subjects. Well, because I am
Uh,
worried sometimes that 2.5 hours can get boring. Um,
the
on
good
one
thing with this
subject.
is, if people if it is too much for people to watch, they can just come back and watch it. It stays on
Yeah.
YouTube. So,
Um,
so we've got one of the things we had from the painting chat today earlier was a video on OSL.
oh, okay.
Uh,
I know. I
and
like.
maybe
Sorry, I didn't mean to make that sound. I like doing OSL, but that would be a whole stream. That wouldn't be something I could do. I didn't see that one. Okay.
oh no, it went up
Oh, as I'm
like
using
an
my.
hour ago
Okay.
in one of
Oh, so
the
my
other
phone's
chats.
being a camera at the moment. That's why then.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I
Um,
mean that's probably a stream on its own. Um, thought someone asked for wood, and then there was something else someone asked for. I can't
oh yeah,
remember
that
what.
was a few days ago, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So
wood and so
how to paint wood to look like a spear shaft, for example,
yeah.
to look like made of wood and not just brown.
No, I was thinking of something like that, and then somebody I think said black metal or something. I
Oh
was just
yeah,
thinking of
there's
something we could do in a stream where we could do a couple of subjects of quick, more sort of tabletop stuff rather than.
mm, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm just worried sometimes that I'm boring people for 2 hours on a leg, for example.
I think as nice as it is to see this sort of level, not everyone can maybe replicate it.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
nice
So we
to
want to be helpful at the same
break
time,
out
don't we?
other things. Yeah, yeah. But it is really cool to see this progress.
Yeah, no, I thought it'd be quite good to have a model that we do from start to finish,
Excellent.
or
Right,
more
well,
or less from start to finish.
I think that's us done for the evening.
Yeah,
So thanks for watching, everyone.
yeah.
We will be back. Should be next Wednesday with
Something.
one or two easy topics, and then we'll be hopefully back to seeing the following steps of this in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, which will probably
Um,
be I assume, just the flesh, this face,
yeah,
and the details, and
hmm
maybe any
and
refining.
do a bit of glazing and stuff like that
Yeah,
to pull the art together.
yeah.
Yeah, cool. Otherwise, if you like what you see, obviously subscribe to us, like the video, comment if you want,
Share it,
and
share it, share
share
it.
it about. We've got a Discord channel. There's a link in the description, but if you can't get it to work or whatever, just get in touch with us on either on here, on Facebook, by email, whatever. Obviously, the website's on the page, so we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Yeah, yeah. So share about, and hopefully see you in a week's time.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye bye.